All right, for the second part of segment 1, we're going to talk about adventuring. Now, what that means is we're going to talk about things like hirelings and henchmen. We're going to talk about movement rates and time frames. We're going to talk about those things that take place during an adventure, but we're not going to talk about combat. Combat is going to be next week, and it's going to be its own long segment when we explain the ins and outs of combat. So for now, before we get there, though, we got to figure out what is a combat round? How far can you move? What can you do in certain instances? And that's what adventuring is going to be about. Can you take falling damage? Yes, you can. And probably won't spend a lot of time on that. But so, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Forgot. You guys know about hashtag RPG, right? Because we believe that this is the core values of game. This isn't just like, oh, it's a good idea. These are core values of gaming. Escapism, not representation. Entertainment, we're there to have fun over activism. And natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. We do support a charity here. If you want to donate, it is to the Wounded Warrior Project, a national nonpartisan organization. So you can click on the little scan me thing there, the little smiling guy. Come on, he's a little smiling nerd. He's waiting for you to take his picture. Nerds want their pictures taken, right?
No.
Oh. Well, this one does. He's smiling for you with his little buck teeth and everything already.
Okay.
And we have, whoops, that's what I wanted to click on. We have our streaming schedule. Sunday and Fridays, we talk about tabletop role-playing games. On Friday, it's opinion and commentary about the hobby and what we might do in a game and thoughts and feelings about how certain games and aspects are run. And on Sunday, what you're watching now, or if you're watching later, we do this on Sundays, we go over games. We specifically dive into them, give you fundamentals, overviews, deep dives, read-throughs, etc., and it's all about the games. On Thursday and Friday, Thursday and Saturday, every other day here, Heathen Dog streams with the Dirty Casuals for your mockery and your enjoyment. And you guys are still playing DDO, right?
For a little while, yes.
So they're playing Dungeons. And you like the role-playing games? You like Hyperborea? Well, they're playing Dungeons and Dragons online on Thursdays. And on Saturdays, it's Mech Warrior 5. I think in the last video I said Mech Warrior Online. I meant to say Mech Warrior 5, where we shoot up some things in giant stompy robots. Not even going to read it. You can read it yourself. Like and subscribe and share for reading. People in chat.
It's funny. I started. All right.
Okay. So once again, we are talking about Hyperborea, 3rd edition. 157. Boom. And now, wait. Sorcery.
That's sorcery. That's not right.
I don't want sorcery.
You lied to me.
Well, equipment ended at sorcery, but we're not diving into sorcery. We covered it a little bit when we did the character classes. And then when I forgot the cleric and did that last week. So, adventure. Oh, wow. 248. So I think it's actually 249. Oops, if I can type. Nope, I was wrong. Wow, I was way wrong. Oh, what the hell? That didn't go to the 249. There we go. I was right. Can't use my computer apparently. I was right-ish.
Execution was poor, but
yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Do as I say, not as I do.
There you go.
Chapter 8, adventure. We're gonna find out all the fun things that you can do in the game in terms of game mechanics. We are now done creating the character. We got our equipment, everything else that came before that, right? Now, what can we do? Let's find out.
Get to that bandit camp. How are you gonna get to the bandit camp?
Exactly.
To murder Hobo and steal all their stuff. Let's find out.
Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to build your adventuring party. Could you play this as one? I hate the term solo RPG because I don't believe in solo RPGs, but you can cry about that if you want. I don't like the idea of solo RPGs. But could you do this one-on-one? Theoretically, yes. You might want to play a few characters if you're doing that. But you want to have a party. So the typical adventuring party comprises from 4 to 6 player characters. He's nice. I like the old days when it's 6 to 8. 6 is my actual happy medium. Less than that, it starts getting a little More than that, it becomes herding cats. So I like 6 players and me. And I do like duplication. I don't know how you feel about this, but I like duplication of classes. I like there being 2 fighters.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are some things you don't need duplicated. Like, you probably don't need 2 wizards. It's going to really, really hurt you in the ground game. And you probably don't need 2 priests. I could see two
Well,
thieves.
I don't know.
I could see two thieves and definitely see two fighters. I could see that easy.
The backup thief when the first one dies.
Yeah, because they're disarming traps and you're first level, so you need a backup.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that just makes sense.
Some games might include a dozen or more players. And you know what? I will say this, not my cup of tea, but I respect the people when they come up like, man, was it Kevin Sambita's like, I ran a game for 30 some people. I'm like, I don't know how the heck you did that.
Yeah.
But good on you. I don't want to be involved in it. So, but I like that because to me, that feels like it could really have some good world building to it. Normally each player, I'm sorry, I missed this. Some games might include a dozen or more players, others, but one player and the referee. That's what I was talking about before. I don't know if that would really be. I don't know if
I've
that would
done
be a
it
great.
before. I have done it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a long-term campaign. It was more like a 3-game arc.
You really have to
3 session arc.
tailor the game around that.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 set. I did it with Garthon and his mage character.
Yeah, I
Because he
mean,
was the
I've
focus
done
of
it
the
before
game.
in D&D and so forth. It's just for a game like this, for a game like D&D, you really have to tailor the game because, a lot of those monsters aren't meant to be fought by one person.
No. They'll just rip you in half.
A well-rounded PC party should include at least one fighter, one magician, one cleric, and one thief if possible. Those subclasses are also included in that.
Sure. These are general. Yeah.
Together, the 4 principal classes are suited to face a variety of challenges. Base of operations. Most adventuring parties will meet at and maintain a base of operations in a town or city, such as the city-state of Cromarium. This is where the adventurers can equip themselves with arms and armor and all the stuff that we talked about in the past, right? Last video?
Yeah.
And adventuring gear.
There is a reason why a lot of adventures start in a bar, because above the bar is what?
The inn?
The inn. That's where you're all staying. So
Because you don't have a stronghold yet.
You don't have a stronghold yet. You're level 1. You don't have a stronghold yet. You're staying at the inn. So that is your first base of operations, the inn. You got to upgrade as soon as possible, but that's where you live.
Can you do me a favor? Can you put up the basic experts comment?
Oh, sure.
I did back the fancy leather version. Not that I'm better or anything, but I want to let you know, basic expert. This is my favorite. I know a lot of people like OSE, but this is my favorite OSR style game. This game, hands down, Castle and Crusades is great. OSE people love it, but this for me is my hands down game. But with that said, I want to let everybody know you can follow the basic expert and you can buy Cow Punchers. I'm doing this because I kind of ribbed on Cow Punchers a little bit on the Friday Night Show stream. Didn't mean to, but you can buy Cow Punchers on Drive-Thru-RPG. It's a Western-style OSR tabletop role-playing game. So check that out. There. Now I feel better. I've forgiven myself. Where are we now? So, adventure preparation. Now, what I like about this game is it does use some old-school things. Where at first you look at it and you cringe. You're like, oh, God, this goes back to what? But when you think about it, it really makes the gameplay move. This isn't going to be done in your pure, it can be, but it isn't generally going to be done in your pure role-playing experience. If you're a genre type player, you're probably not going to be interested in what this game has to offer like this. If you are a newer player that likes to role-play but also likes old school feel, then some of this will hopefully tickle that funny bone a little bit there for you. So, but players should prepare and coordinate their characters. Typically, this planning is arranged before the adventure begins, so sometimes necessity dictates it be done whilst the adventure is in progress. Here are some typical adventure preparations. Itinerary. Discuss when and how to go about the adventure. Now, you're probably like, well, isn't that the Game Master's job? No. Where are you going? The Game Master reacts to what you do. Where are you going? You might want to talk with the other people around you to figure out how you're going to get there. Would you just going to walk?
Well, now hang on. It doesn't discuss where you're going because you have a destination or you wouldn't be planning to go anywhere. When and how is completely up to the player.
Yep.
You can leave whenever you want. You can go on a rickshaw, or you can go on a unicycle. I don't care, but you got to decide that.
Yeah, equipment determine what special gear might be needed. Think this through. One of the things that I want to say, and I am guilty of this as well, is that I really feel that a lot of times in modern gaming, adventurers don't research and then plan for the adventure. They're just like, burp, derp, derp, derp. Oh, look, ruins.
Yeah, a lot of gamers now don't take into account the terrain, ecosystem, whatever that they're passing between here and there. They just think everything's like fast travel, like a video game.
Mhm.
No, if you are crossing through what's dubbed the Valley of Death, you're gonna need some extra stuff. You know, talk to a guy who's been to the Valley of Death. Maybe you need a certain poultice to help with the poisonous animals that live there, or you're crossing a desert, gonna need more water, buddy. You know, you don't
Well,
want to run out of water in a desert. You don't need that.
there's
You know,
also the
stuff like that.
destination itself. Like, oh, we're going into a dungeon. I'm just using random dungeon.
Okay.
Well,
And you're probably gonna need rope. You're probably gonna need
rumors. You're
um,
going to need rumors.
rumors. That's true. That's true.
I
But
mean, unless you
that's not
literally
equipment.
are going in blind. A lot of old school games, especially those West Marches style. I mean, Keep 'em Borderlands is to me the best example of an old game module that utilizes rumors. You get the rumors, find the caves have ogres in them. Oh, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Rumors might be real, might not be real. You know, you have a list of real rumors, some list of fake rumors, but you start to get an idea for it. Like, it's funny whether the rumors are true or false. Everything in here says it's going to charm me and then eat me. Maybe we should go in there with some protections against charms.
Hmm.
You know, it's a type of research. Well, you know, the thief is, I wouldn't say the thief, the carouser is getting it from the bar. The wizard's going to whatever counts as a library in this
thing.
area. Yeah. The priest is playing and maybe trying to go through some dusty tomes that maybe some, oh my God, not merchant. Oh my God.
Local clergy.
No. I cannot believe missionary. Jesus, there we go. Some missionaries gone on, you know, experienced whatever. But this is a part of the game, and this is why I'm kind of harping on it right now, that I really feel, even in my own experience as a game master, I have not done well. I could have done better. Yes, you need to take the time to research it. If you do accidentally stumble across ruins, which can sound interesting, you are going in to something blind, and you know you run across a gelatinous cube, a rust monster, and a carrion crawler all at the same time. You're probably not going to get too far, and those aren't high level creatures.
No.
But anyway, spells. Or I'm sorry, I skipped hirelings. Consider hiring a mercenary or specialist. This is something that drives me crazy. I hate this, but it is so important.
Yes, I mean, if your group doesn't have the right class for this job, then well, you need to hire some talent. You know, because if you go into a dungeon without a thief, you're probably gonna get screwed. If you go into say a wilderness area that you're trying to search for something, you don't have a ranger or someone with wilderness scout type capabilities, you're gonna have to hire that out, or you're gonna get lost. You know, it depends on where you're going, all of the tools and skills that your party is going to need to survive. If you don't have that, you got to shore that up with some funds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I you know me, I'm loath to deal with
No, you really hate hirelings, but
hirelings
they are
and
good.
henchmen and so forth, but they are very important. As long as the characters either treat them properly, or the game master says, "Oh, you know what? I'm charging double now because you take your hirelings and just throw them to the wolves." No,
People
and we'll
talk.
talk more. What's that?
People talk when you come back with like Joe's finger.
Or
know?
they don't talk because every time somebody joins you, it becomes a pilot in one of Garthon's mechs.
There you go. Yeah, and nobody ever comes back.
Spells. Select spells best memorized for the start of the adventure. Again, another thing that I think is often overlooked. Now, this game is different than D&D, and I'm not going to go into D&D anecdotes, but think about the spells that you have available or you might need, and have them ready to go. Maybe you make a scroll or two, or you get a scroll or two just to double up on a fire protection if, you know, all signs portents of fire. Marching order. Why is this important? Well, establishing a marching order for both wilderness and dungeon. This actually speeds up play.
Yeah. You don't have to constantly ask after every single, mile or two or whatever when an event's going to happen. Okay, what's your order? What's your order? I have the order. It's right here. This event happens in the back. This event happens in the side, the front, whatever. And the game master doesn't have to constantly guess where your characters are.
Right.
Yeah. And so you have that. Again, speeds up gameplay. You're right.
Standard tactics. Now, this is a good one. And I'm always reminded of the Earth Dawn game for this one. If you remember Eric with his Whopper with cheese, his double, all that stuff. Well, we might look at it and be like, okay, that's silly, because it was. But it actually sped up play because I knew what it was. Yeah. I knew, like, oh, he said, the quarter pounder, whatever his terms are. I remember his Whoppers, whatever.
The Whopper with cheese and double Whopper with cheese.
Yeah, whatever they were. But I knew if he was doing double Whopper with cheese, he was using all of his karma and all of his strain abilities. If he was using the other one, he was going with the strain. If he's using another one, he was going with the karma. And if he's just saying, you know what, I think I'm just going to attack, then he kind of forgot all that, realizing that he was hurting himself. But standard tactics, you can have those things set up where, again, it speeds up the gameplay without taking away from the gameplay. And then also the game master, referee in this case doesn't go, okay, what are you guys doing? Well, you know what we're doing. We do the same thing every time. We go to the door. The two fighters are in front with their shields out. We got the thief ready to pokey poke, and we've got the spellcaster going like this. Well, the cleric is on the side going, don't hit me in the face because I need to heal you guys. Whatever it happens to be, right? And then this is one of the fun ones. These next two are the ones that I don't see anymore ever. First one is the caller. So how this works, generally speaking, I've had some people tell me they do it differently, is this. Heathen Dog, myself, who else? Garthon and Sheris, and whoever else we've got in the group, we sit there and say, hey, you do this, I think I'll do this. Yeah, okay, this is a good idea. I'll do this instead, whatever. And we talk it out for a few seconds, right? Mm-hmm. And then Heathen Dog, as the caller, says, all right, this is what's going on. Max is going to go around this corner, stand to the side, wait for somebody to come through. Garthon is standing back there with his bow ready to go. The rest of us are going to charge through the door, whatever it is. Yeah. And then you just do it.
The player game master liaison.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were going to add more to that.
No, that was it. I mean, that's what it means. I mean, you have one. Your group speaks to the game master in one voice, so nothing is misunderstood or goes through the cracks, or someone talks over somebody else and you didn't get the whole thing.
Also, it prevents this. Hold on. I think what I'm going to do now is, no, you've already decided that.
Yeah. Oh. Then there's the mapper.
This is another one, and I'm not going to call out dirt. But there is somebody in our community here who will just say that, well, he has me blocked in places. I know a lot of you guys like him, but it was over something that revolved around this. I don't give out specific distances. You could pretty much infer what the distances are, although I do tweak them a little bit. So I'll say things like, okay, it's going to be 5 steps wide by 10 steps wide that way. Or it looks to be about... say it's a bigger room. It looks to be about as far as you could throw a heavy rock. Something like that. Well, what is it actually in feet? You don't know until you measure it. Heathen Dog's been in my games. He understands how I do that.
Yeah. Did you buy that tape measure?
Right.
From the store? You did? All right. Then you got 5 minutes? Yeah, you do? All right. Measure it out. It's fine.
Now, with a mapper, that becomes even more fun. Because the mapper can't do specific... Okay, 5, 10, 50, 20. Unless it's like, would you say it's about 20 feet? Yeah, it's probably a little more than 20 feet. 25 feet? I don't know. 30? No, you're pretty sure it's not 30 feet. So it's going to be somewhere between 20 and 25. Now, if you're doing everything in 5-foot blocks, well, you just gave it away. But I don't do that. So I don't like the concept of exact distances. Now, your mileage may vary on that one. I find that it leads to things like, okay, I can stand 1 inch away from the fireball. Well, now you can't because you hope that there's enough space in there for the fireball. But just in case, Heathen Dog, can you go back down around that corner? You might get singed otherwise.
I left all the ovens on. I'm gonna go check that out.
You're about to feel the heat of it. Now, with that said,
I left the ovens on at home. I'm gonna go that way.
Player uses a sheet of graph paper to map the party's explorations. It is assumed that the mapper's character has the benefit of perhaps a writing stick and parchment, because it's supposed to be an in-character, out-of-character thing at the same time. With practice, a skilled mapper will be able to sketch out the dimensions of a dungeon labyrinth as communicated by the referee.
Now, it is important to note that second sentence. It is assumed that the mapper's character has the benefit of perhaps a writing stick and parchment. That don't make your mapper buy his supplies. You're already making a real person draw a map for you. Don't make his character pay money for that crap too. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just assume when he has paper and pen for writing maps. Does he have paper and pen for everything? Maybe not. But whenever he wants to draw on a map, he's got it.
As long as it stays for this purpose, I 100% agree.
Yes. Because
there's no reason not to. I mean, it might be fun, like, oh, you got lost in the maze. I get it. I honestly can see that, if they're not paying attention. But this game is telling you throw the mapper in there. So
exactly. Yes.
All right. Probably not going to spend as much time on some of the other things, but I really want to get through it because this is such an old school way of doing it, but it's an old school way that works. It's not just nostalgia here. It's actually a methodology that works. Now, hirelings and henchmen. What are the difference between the two? Well, let's find out. Hirelings might be employed to fill out the adventuring party. Hirelings are non-player characters who ideally do not hog the spotlight. That is rule 1. If you want to know why Max doesn't like hiring hirelings and henchmen, it's because players abuse them. But do not hog the spotlight or take the focus away from the PCs. Rather, they are support personnel. Typically, they do not gain a share of the party's experience points, do not advance in levels, and are paid a modest wage.
They're paid up front.
Hirelings may be managed by one or more players, typically the player whose character has hired them, or by the referee.
No, also, if he agrees, I mean, that's just another thing you got to juggle in the air, but okay.
The charisma attribute affects contracting hirelings and maintaining hireling loyalty.
Oh yeah, no. If all of you have a bad charisma, and you and your hirelings find the treasure trove, and it's a Scrooge McDuck type treasure thing, those hirelings are going to look at each other, look at you, look at each other, and go, "It's worth a shot," and stab you in the back, and take all the gold. Treat them well. Don't treat them like crap. Not a good idea.
Henchmen are classed individuals. Now, if you go back to the character class videos, you'll see that we talked about henchmen in there. Henchmen are classed individuals who seek out or are sought by 6th level characters and become their loyal followers. Typically, they're of similar class, race, or culture, and they take a more active role than hirelings do because they're more than just hired hands.
Okay, think of it this way. You are Batman, and a hireling is going to be Alfred. He does stuff behind the scenes. He doesn't go out crime fighting with you. He doesn't help you fight the Joker. He cleans the house. He stitches you up when you're cut. He stays home. A henchman is your Robin. Goes out with you, assists you in the actual crime fighting, gets beat up by the Joker a lot, but whatever, more of an active role, but still not quite the spotlight.
Yeah, you're going to see that this game says something a little different than what you just said.
Why? That's perfect.
We'll get to it. So first of all, the hireling reaction to your offer. So roll D12 or 2D6, I'm sorry, and you'll get this reaction. I would modify this reaction
6
based on if you're like paying double the price or whatever. If you made an effort to do something more or something less, I would add a reaction. But that's personally what I would do.
I got neutral. I got 6.
I got 6. So that means further negotiation is required. So
he's on the fence. I got to sweeten the pot.
Yep.
There you go. I won't kill your wife. What? Yeah.
You know what? I'm in. Wait a minute. You won't. Well, then I'm out.
Oh, I'm out. Oh, you want that? Okay. Well, then there you go then. Yeah.
She's not watching. So here are some common hirelings. Armor bearer, guide. You were supposed to be paying attention to something else. Link boy, that does not sound.
Boy?
I don't know. We'll find out in a moment. Messenger,
like Rent boy. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Pack handler, porter, stevedore, and teamster. Okay, well, I do want to look at a couple of these because we're going to, torch lamp bearer.
Oh, a lamp bearer. Okay. All right. 1 gold piece per day to hold the flashlight?
In a dungeon where he could get eaten?
I don't care.
Armor bearer carries weapons and armor. A dungeon armor bearer works for 1 gold piece a day. So the reason why I said I kind of disagree is these people, the hirelings, do go with you.
Yeah, they do, but they're not carrying weapons and armor. If we're going in the dungeon, I'm wearing them.
Well, you're definitely gonna have extra shields.
No, fair.
Shields break.
Okay, that's fair.
Guide has special. You want the guide to go with you, right? To get you to.
He's not a gold piece per day. He's not a goddamn diva.
Well, let's see. A daily cost. Wait a minute.
3 silver pieces.
Oh, no. So this is the difference between in a dungeon and out of a dungeon.
Monthly cost. It's a monthly cost.
No. This is in a. Listen, this is in a dungeon. This is the normal operating cost up here.
It's an armor bearer in town.
No, going across the wilderness.
No.
You should probably look up but look up how caravans were actually, like the Crusades.
No.
How many people actually went with them? But again, but to be fair, this is one of the reasons where like old school games handle things. We'll call it more simulationist in that regard.
Yeah.
Where we hand wave a lot of this stuff in.
I'm have to take care of inflation in this world.
There you go.
Because that ain't right.
Messengers, pack handlers, porter bears, stevedores, whatever. Okay. So now, this is still hirelings. Mercenary hirelings.
Okay.
Now these are 0th level freelancers hired to provide martial support. So these will fight for you. I do not like this at all. I get the old school people are going to yell at me. I get it. You're welcome to yell. I don't like this. I am of the mindset. How do I say it? Look, Dragonlance, Lord of the Rings. I want the Fellowship of the Ring to do this stuff. But he had an army. Yeah, at high levels, that's different. That's domain play. I want the Fellowship to do this stuff. I want the Heroes of the Lance to do this stuff. I don't want the weirdo 0th level people to do anything. Again, personal preference. I'm not saying it's wrong. Just letting you know this is something that I'm just.
Well, plus it says right there they may require an equal share of party profits. No, man, I'm paying 1 gold piece a day to the flashlight holder. I don't got any money left over for you, buddy.
Well, this guy's got a monthly cost of 12 gold pieces. You get a longbow, man.
Dungeon, then it's 50 platinum.
So
the way inflation works here.
And he has leather armor, short sword, and longbow for when you kill him.
Super.
All right, but what the point is though is honestly, let's say you think you need a little bit more firepower, and this comes with that research that we were talking about before.
Right.
We might need a little bit more firepower. Well, guess what? Now you can bring in a couple of heavy infantry. Like I said, it's not my preference to do this, but I get it. And if the party did research and came to the conclusion, yeah, you know what? I think we're going to need a little bit extra firepower, especially in a game like Hyperborea. I'd be like, okay. What I'd be scared of is, guys, we do have a couple of thousand extra gold for no good reason, right? We could hire an entire company. Platoon company.
Okay, you hire a company of light infantrymen. Just send them out to die. Whatever. We'll pay the ones that live full price, and we'll give the widows half.
There you go. Each mercenary type is considered 0th level fighter with 1d8 hit points. Higher level mercenaries, such as a sergeant, which is 1st level, lieutenant, which is 2nd level, or captain, which is 5th level, will cost 2, 5, and 10 times respectively. All right. And then we have specialist hirelings. This is where you get to your alchemist, your blacksmith.
Like the sage and alchemist and blacksmith priest. Okay, yeah, got it.
Or for heathen dog and played in fantasy, the diabolist.
Yeah, because no one's going to be that class.
And there we go. Hopefully I left it on the screen long enough. I don't want to go through the entire list. Now let's look at henchmen. This is a classed individual attracted or compelled to serve a higher level character. And we already said that. So begin at 1st level unless the PC is 9th level or greater, in which case a henchman is 2nd or 3rd level as possible. Typically given a fair wage by the PC. Fair wage. Perhaps a share of loot gained through adventure. They also should earn a portion of the experience points. So this is often a reduced share as best determined by the referee.
See, that this is where the whole experience equals gold thing. The gold you give them, not only are you paying them, but they also gain that experience. But you don't.
Now, your charisma is going to limit the number of henchmen you can have.
Yes.
Now, henchmen are neither automatically attracted nor guaranteed. They might be drawn to the service of PC due to one's heroic deeds or reputation. The point is roleplay. And again, when we went through the character class stuff, it talked about what type of henchman each character class gets.
Sure.
So.
I mean, if you want to naturally, attract loyal henchmen, you can if you're famous enough. But some people need flyers, and that's how it works. Yeah, whatever.
And this is a common method down here. Furthermore, in the event of a PC's death, or if the PC is otherwise disposed and not available to adventure, a henchman may be used to temporarily or even permanently replace a PC. And that's a common trope when it comes to them.
Yeah. Henchman, hireling, and loyalty. Oh, this is going to be good.
And
traitorous. Again, let's see. Let's see. Now, hang on. This is adjusted by charisma, right?
Yes.
Loyalty is influenced by the charisma of the PC. Oh, you've moved. I can't read it now.
Yeah, well, okay. Reaction loyalty adjustment.
Morale measures NPC reactions to extremely adverse circumstances, blah, blah, blah. Great personal loss and the like. Referee can assign hireling loyalty. Use this table below to establish randomly. Roll 2d6 on the table below, modified by the controlling PC's reaction loyalty adjustment. Let's say everyone in your party is a party of friggin' lepers. You're all all messed up.
Okay.
Got 3 toes missing, two fingers on your right hand. It's all, your eyes missing, stuff like that.
You bully everybody. You're always slapping people.
You have your best looking guy is hiring, and he's still got a -2 to loyalty. So let's see what happens. 1, this is gonna be great. 2, 0. Traitorous, will abandon or betray employer at any time. If you find the gold, now you got to fight your hirelings. Yay. Yay.
Leave me alone. See, GM's Alcove's giving me crap about my character being a bully in his game.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, I rolled snake eyes, and I got leprosy, so I got a 0.
And guess what? You've got a hireling who's about to take all your stuff.
Yeah. All you really need is a 6. You get to 6, you're okay. They're not going to stab you in the back. They're not going to betray you. They're going to follow the letter of the contract.
Yeah, I would say 4 or 5 is okay as well.
Yeah. Unreliable is not cool. May fail employer at times, and purposely fail is a thing. But if you get a 9 or higher, they're not just going to follow the letter of your contract. They're actually going to try to impress you. They're going to go above and beyond. I love it.
But of course, you don't roll this in front of the players.
No,
the player doesn't know.
Dumb. Traitors people don't wear a sign. You're not going to know that. Right. He's going to be your best friend right up until he's holding a giant fist-sized ruby. Then he's not. Oh, they get scared. Same guy, leprosy guy. He starts at a -2. So let's see if these people run. Let's see what happens. 4. Oh wow, 10. -2 is 8. Level-headed, knows when to fight and when to run. Okay.
Well, he's a traitor, so he knows where to run right now.
Yeah. But the thing is, if they're not loyal to begin with, they can decide to run. But if they are loyal, they can stay. They're good. They're fine. They're not dropping their swords. They're not peeing themselves. They're not fleeing. You're fine.
All right, let's look at what you can do in the game with your character and your party. I'm not going to read every rule here. We're just going to show that there are rules for it so that if you want to attempt any of these actions, they're available to you. Obviously, you can climb. And you probably don't want to do so in chainmail or plate mail, sorry. And we already talked about the thieves when we went through the character classes and how they can climb and how they fall. Doors. Concealed doors. Those are obstructed behind a bookshelf. They're concealed. A concealed door and a secret door are different things. Found it, these are supposed to be, hold on. Behind a bookshelf, tapestry, or stack of barrels. Found as a secret doors unless player specifically states the character's looking, Oh, I just did that. Behind the noted obstruction, in which case the concealed door is revealed automatically. Well, typically a concealed door is behind something, like the safe behind the painting. That's a concealed door. A secret door is something where it's like you have to pull the lever over here in order to make the door over there open up. That's usually the way it's been described, but I guess this one does it a little bit differently. Or everything just falls under concealed doors. Locked doors, it can be picked using thieves' tools. So that's why you have your thief in the party. And that's just a picture. A secret door. Oh, here. Any character can search for and locate a secret door. 2 in 6 chance. So any character has a 33% chance of finding a secret door. Some classes are better suited, such as a thief who enjoys a 3 in 6 chance. So 50% chance for a thief. Such checks should be rolled secretly by the referee. Searching for a secret door typically requires 1 turn. That's 10 minutes per 10 by 10 foot area. People complain about that all the time. If it's 10 foot by 10 foot area, yeah. I mean, you are checking out every crevice. You're pulling the books. You're pushing the bricks. You're looking for something that's out of place. Also, a turn is just a normal measure of unit in a dungeon. That's the other thing to understand, is normal unit of measurement for time in a dungeon. So hurried attempt may yield a decreased chance in 6. So, if you want to do it half the time, maybe it's 2 in 6 or 1 in 6. Now, I have had arguments with people on this. So I'm going to tell you how I do it in case you interpret it the same way I do. If you don't, I get it, and that's fine. By the letter of the rule, if you are standing in a 10 by 10 square on a map, in order to look at this wall, because it says area, right?
Sure.
This side of this face of the wall will take you 10 minutes. This face of the wall will take you another 10 minutes. I don't do that.
No.
I treat the area as the area that you're standing in. Yeah, I treat it as volume in that case. I know it says area, but I treat the word area as the area that you're standing in. So you can check that wall, and the door behind you,
floor,
all
whatever.
within that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Some people say, no, that's not how it's, that's fine. I'm just saying that's how I do it. Stuck doors may be swollen from moisture or partially blocked, or may hold a simple locking mechanism. Note that breaking down a locked door is much noisier than picking it open. The fact that he had to say that in here makes me cry, but he did have to say that. Mm-hmm. A stuck door requires a test of strength. Remember, that's the D6 roll to force open. At the referee's discretion, the chance in 6 might be improved by 1 if a pry bar is used.
Makes sense.
A heavily barred or magically sealed door cannot be broken down by anyone whose strength is less than 17 at a 1 in 12 chance or 18 at a 1 in 6 chance. I wish it would say that. Maybe it does, but I don't remember it saying that in the strength section.
Well, is there explosives you can buy at town?
I didn't see that in the equipment list, but there might be. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Alvadir, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I have no harm, no foul for people who do that, because that is a strict reading of the rule. No issues here. None. I'm just saying, for me, I treat the area as the area that your feet is on, and then the volume around that. But that's, again, maybe tomato. So light. So illuminance is always a concern, especially in a dungeon. You need to be able to see things, but also remember, light will give your position away as well. So, and this is what the radiuses are. Yeah. Remember, it's radius.
I want you to look very carefully. Look very carefully at the hooded lantern. You are paying little Jimmy a gold piece a day to hold a lantern that only gives you 30 feet of light.
Well, 60 feet, but 30-foot radius, yeah.
It's not worth it, man. Keep Jimmy at home.
Well, then who's going to carry the lantern?
The thief is going to do it.
No, he's got his hands on his picks. He's got 2 swords, and he's hiding in shadows. No, he's not going to hold a lantern to hide in shadow.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I'm not going. If I'm the thief, I'm not holding the lantern.
No, you have to hold the lantern because you're also the mapper. Ha!
No,
you need the light.
I'm not. I might be the mapper, but I'm not holding the lantern.
Fighter. Nope. Wait, unless you have a bard, then that dipshit's the light. But
he'll start tapping on it and playing a tune. No, I am not holding. I guarantee you, I am not holding the lantern as a thief. Fuck that.
Little Jimmy's not getting a gold piece a day. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
I don't care.
Your party's gonna die. I'm gonna pay 2 little Jimmies.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but your party's going to starve.
No,
You're going to die slow.
no, because we're gonna get 10,000 gold pieces, and I'm gonna retire.
Shit. Because you're paying Jimmy.
You're
Jimmy's getting rich.
You're just jealous. You're just
You're
jealous that I have a Jimmy and you don't.
No. Jimmy is a liability. Everyone knows it.
Listening, the character can attempt to hearken at a door, distinguish a sound in the forest, eavesdrop on a conversation, or the like. Such efforts are executed at a base 1 in 6 chance, modified by the referee. And if the noise is obvious, 2 in 6. I thought that was going to be the thief one, but if the noise is obvious, chance might be 2 in 6. So you can want to see if it says here might declare 1 in 8 chances. What? But if
it's
for example,
unrecognizable.
Sounds unrecognizable. Oh, okay, yeah. To discern exactly what it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's something.
On a failed listen check, the referee might provide false or erroneous information, or he might simply say you hear nothing. Sleep and rest, average group fit to adventure for about 8 to 12 hours per day. This time typically includes 1 to 2 respites of about 3 to 6 turns, so 30 to 60 minutes each. You know, this is one of those areas where I struggle again, and why I love a game like Forbidden Lands, even if it doesn't make actual logical sense in how it does it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's like, well, you know, I got Forest March, and you know, I know people who can do this, and Bear Grylls, he can march for 62 hours a day. Yeah, look, not wearing packs, not in the Middle Ages. You're clunking around in half your chainmail right now, probably all of it because you're a dumb player that thinks you can do that. You know, like these rest breaks and so forth. I think a lot of people forget. Leaving about 12 hours for rest.
That can include setup and teardown.
Yes.
2 hours of setup and 2 hours of teardown and still get 8 hours of sleep. Okay. That's fine.
Well, and keep watch and maybe do some foraging, maybe knock out some hunting.
Sure.
Setting up camp. If anybody's in the military, you know that setting up camp is not a 5-minute ordeal.
No. It's minimum. If you are trained and the terrain is perfect, 15 minutes for a group of 6 or 8 people to set up a proper camp with a fire and tents and all that stuff. 15 minutes.
I'll just dig a hole and lay in it. Yeah, that'll work maybe one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Then we got traps, and again, I'm not going to go through that. You'll explore you'll find those in the game that you're playing.
Hey, Jimmy, go over there and get a light on that, will you? Oh, don't have to pay Jimmy anymore. That's great.
Talks about special abilities, which you'll get with your character class. Non-standard actions. Okay. Players often wish their characters perform actions not covered by the rules. Hey, well, I want to do... I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I want to do something that's not covered by the rules. What you do then is, and this is the referee, how hard do you think it is? I think it's a simple. Then you got a 5 in 6 chance of doing it. You know what? I think it's very difficult. You got a 1 in 6 chance of doing it. So something comes up. It's this simple. You don't have to look for, well, do I have a skill that's related to this one? No, it's not a skill-based game. I would probably take into consideration, like, what's your character class? You know what? I don't think that a fighter is going to know how to do whatever. I can't, a religion check right now. But since everybody has a chance to do it, let's make it challenging. You got a 50% chance to know what that icon is. The priest, on the other hand, you know what? That's pretty simple for you 5 and 6. I might just give it to you. But my point is, I was just trying to make something mundane there. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can put on bonuses, penalties and bonuses that you deem fit as the referee. But it's just a D6 roll. Not a D20, not percentile dice, not something crazy. Just a simple D6 roll.
Sure.
I love this. And I remember when we talked about it for 2nd edition, well, it's something that I've kind of taken into other games. I really like this. So, and he gives an example there. And gives attribute checks. Okay, let's just do one. Let's just look at the first strength one, okay? A battle-hardened barbarian is bound by old rusty manacles. He wishes to break free, so the referee calls for a test of strength. Again, D6. However, if the manacles are not rusty and composed of sturdy Celtic iron, the referee may call for an extraordinary feat of strength, which is the percentile roll.
Mm-hmm.
Again, notice in every one of these, the referee makes the call.
Yep.
But this is how attribute checks are done. Again, there are no skills in the game, so you're going to base some things on attribute. And remember, fighters, the cool thing about this is, as a fighter, I'm not going to say you want this because the percentage is still lower, but you almost want the extraordinary feat of strength because you get that extra 8%. As a thief, you get the extra 8% down here. Attribute checks mental. Again, attribute checks work the same way. What are we? Time. 1 round is 10 seconds. Wait, it's not 1 minute. This is not Dungeons and Dragons. 1 round is 10 seconds. 1 turn is 10 minutes. And where that matters is the difference between wilderness and dungeon. So, oh, it doesn't go into it here? I thought okay, maybe it's a little later. I thought he went into it right there. But movement is the measure of distance one can travel during battle when negotiating labyrinthine depths or whilst traveling icy tundra. Notice that this movement isn't just walking down the sidewalk.
No.
All of these are some sort of contested or movement under duress. You have combat movement, dungeon movement, and I think wilderness movement, right? And yeah, wilderness movement. So, armor. We already looked at combat. Isn't this great? He's got so many different places where you can find this rule now.
Before it was hidden, now it's just sprinkled everywhere. That's great. Yeah.
We already kind of talked about encumbrance and what it does. You can see it in the armor itself. And Heathen Dog already called out the fact that when you have heavy armor, it's -2, yada yada. So dungeon movement. Any PC, armored or not, can cover about 120 feet per turn in 10 minutes. Now let's think about that a second. That's 120 feet. I can move 120 feet in like what? How many yards is that? 40 yards? I can cover that in just a couple of seconds. Why are you telling me it takes 10 minutes? When cautiously navigating dark dungeon passages or subterranean caverns, if you are just beep-bopping through the dungeon, you are a mishap waiting to happen.
Yeah. Number one, you're not going to see anything before it sees you or before it goes off. Number two, tiny stalactites and stalagmites, you're just going to trip on them and fall. Hurt yourself. Little Jimmy's going to have an accident. He is going to drop the lantern. It's going to spill oil everywhere. It's going to get your shit on fire. And then, well, we were going to kill Jimmy anyway. But now Jimmy has to die for his mistakes. But, do you want to kill little Jimmy? I do, but you probably don't.
Subscribe for not killing Jimmy, because I think most people are
save Jimmy.
Subscribe to save Jimmy. This rate accounts for mapping, listening, inspecting, moving stealthily, and so forth. Dungeon movement rate also applies to adventurers in castles, towers, buildings, alleys, and basically anywhere movement is restricted.
Yep.
In the wilderness, a healthy person, lightly armored, unarmored, blah, blah, can walk about 1 league, which is 3 miles per hour, or about 24 miles per day in optimal conditions. This pace accounts for about 10 hours of travel, 8 of actual movement, interrupted by a total of 2 hours of rest eating. And that's a good round number. I think that's Roman army moved 30 kilometers a day, if I remember correctly. Adventurers clad in medium or heavy armor can also walk about 1 league per hour, but they require longer periods of rest and recuperation. So the total miles achieved per day is lessened. And I'll let you go into the math. That's what you can move. We don't have to do that in this video, just showing that if you wear armor. Oh, look at that. It even converts it for you. If you have a
movement rate.
Yep. That's how many miles per day you can
24, 18, 12, and 10.
So if you're going to wear your plate mail all day, you're only moving 12 miles.
Yeah. Unless you have a horse.
Well, terrain will affect movement as well. Rugged terrain, -10 move. Very rugged, -20 move. Nice, simple rules.
Yes.
So guess what? If it's very rugged and you're wearing your heavy plate mail, guess how far you moved? 0.
0, yeah.
Why? That doesn't make sense. I should be able to move. Dude, you cannot.
The very first obstacle you came across defeated you.
Right.
That's what happened. You have to take off your armor to climb over this jagged rock formation. You cannot pass it if you're that encumbered. You can't. You are defeated. Jimmy can make it.
And he's got your lamp.
And he's got your lantern. So when it comes nighttime, not only are you trapped, but you're also in the dark.
And of course,
Jimmy
just
ran away with your gold that you gave him to hold the lantern.
Oh, the 1 gold piece you paid him.
Well, I'm not paying him ahead of time. He'll just run away with 10 gold. Hee. Little Jimmy's eating good tonight.
And of course, you can buy transportation. And here it gives miles per day, movement rates, and how much the transportation can carry. So I want a donkey cart.
Sure.
1,000 pounds, man.
Easy.
Ooh, a trained mammoth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
I'm going to Hannibal this shit. This is going to be awesome.
Right. No, not even elephant. Mammoth.
Yeah.
I got the hairy elephants.
Yes.
Oh, great wheel wagon. Mammoth drawn wagon. Oh, that's got to be a sight.
Goodness.
I'm in. How much that bad boy cost?
Probably a lot more than we have. I mean, we had to pay
Jimmy took all the money.
Jimmy took all the money. I mean, holding the lantern for a couple of days, that's like a mammoth right there.
And you can get lost. I'm not going to go through the getting lost rules, but
No,
you can become lost. This is why you have a guide. This is why you take care. But depending on how bad things are, you can have a 50% chance of getting lost.
Yeah.
You know, deserts, because remember, deserts are not the easiest thing. Sand dunes move. It's not like you got a road to follow. Yeah. And Heathen Dog knows, I definitely know growing up in Minnesota, snow blindness is a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. All right. Yes. It can, after a fresh snow and there's no clouds in the sky at high noon, you're not going anywhere. You're not getting in the car. No, because everyone's blind. You're just gonna wreck. That's what's gonna happen. You wait. You always have the sun at your back.
Can you roll a D6 for me?
Sure. 6.
Great. You went 90 degrees to the right. That's not as bad as, turning around completely, but you are off course by 90 full degrees. Well, right for me is that way, but.
Yep, I get it. A guide is a much better investment than a Jimmy.
What if the guy's name is Jimmy?
Then you try again.
Okay, fair enough. Is that it? That isn't it, is it? Oh, shit, it is.
It is. Sweet.
Okay. Look at that. I mean, we even dove deeper into a couple things that I had planned on us doing. I mean, that is pretty simple. That's not combat, but this is everything outside the game you really need to know. How to build your party, the hirelings and henchmen, becoming lost, buying a horse. There we go. Next week is going to be combat. We'll see how long that chapter is. Hopefully it's not like the character creation videos or character class videos, but yeah, let's go ahead and hit those comments and then.
All right, Marhogman says looting ruin should be more important than murder hoboing. Yeah, well, that we were talking about the XP for loot type thing. Yeah, you don't need to murder everyone if, the gold also boosts your XP. And I get it. I just don't use it unless I have to. In this game, you pretty much have to, but yeah.
What I've done in the past for other games is I've converted that to role-playing experience points.
And we were talking about the quarter pounder with cheese, and now Flally wants quarter pounder.
Oh, sorry, I made you hungry.
Basic Expert comes up with, I don't always have a caller, but my players figured out they need a mapper if they don't want to get lost. Yeah,
good. And again, the caller thing isn't something that I'm like, oh, everybody's got to do it.
No, it's just nice to have.
Yeah, and I like the fact that a book written in 2021 still mentions things like a caller. I don't, to be fair, I don't use a caller in my games, but I understand it's important, and I wouldn't be adverse to it.
If the players wanted to,
oh, absolutely,
you would not poo-poo that thing.
No, not at all.
And then we have Nerdy Ogre. Hire a guide to show you the way, a teamster to drive the wagon, and 2 guards to protect everything while you're in the dungeon. That is a sound investment. Because XP is linked to loot. So you're going to need that wagon. You're going to need guards. You're going to need the teamster and the guide to get you to and from without busting the cart, without getting it robbed, without all that stuff. That's useful. A Jimmy, not useful. And yes, I purposely, keep saying Jimmy in that way, so people who don't understand what I'm saying thinks it's a condom.
No, that's kick me in the Jimmy. All right. I think that is it. If you guys have anything that you want to put in the comments about adventuring, again, next week is going to be combat. So far, because next week's combat, I'm sure I'll ask you then. But before we get into the combat rules, I think we kind of know what the combat rules are. We played a lot of Dungeons & Dragons in our life. But I mean, what do you think of this book's presentation so far?
The The presentation is good. It's clean, it's crisp. I'm not a big fan of a couple of the mechanics, but that's just me. But it's easy to read, it's easy to understand. I got no problem with it.
To me, it's one of the best laid out books. I mean, I would prefer. This is just me being pedantic. Nothing wrong with this book. I would prefer much less verbiage, but if he were to do that, it wouldn't instill the feel that he's trying to do. It's kind of like, with Palladium books, right? With Kevin, it's like if we were to say, Kevin, just write a technical manual, none of your fluff in there, the books would be like that big and easy to follow. But would it be Palladium then?
Yeah.
So I like, this is honestly, it's my go-to OSR game. I absolutely love it. If I'm not going to do Rule Cyclopedia or AD&D Second Edition, and I want a D&D-esque type game, I'm grabbing that book right there, or my leather-bound book up there.